Hey guys, it's J19 brought to you another video, and today we are finally going to review Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin. I finally finished it up, and it took me about 15 hours. And I gotta tell you, this game, all the trailers and stuff, like, I can tell, like, a lot of people wasn't, like, hyped for it. It's like, man, this game looks kind of weird, looks kind of strange. Like, the visuals didn't look good and stuff like that. But I'm gonna tell you what, this game is actually better than the marketing, for sure. I really enjoyed it. I really liked like all the enemy varieties. I did like the story, the characters, and I was immersed. I was playing it for like the final stretch. I was playing it for like 6.5 hours, and it's just like I just kept going and going and going, and the story just kept getting better and better. Let's talk about the main thing, right? Let's talk about the gameplay. I thought the gameplay was absolutely stunning. I thought the gameplay was immersive. It was great. It was fun. It's a nice hack and slash. You got lots of weapons you can choose from. I use a great sword for like majority of my playthrough. I did do some magic. I did do another like a heavy type of weapon, but like you can use like staffs. You can do magic. You can do like dual blades and stuff like that. And I thought it was pretty sick. It gives you a whole bunch of like variety of like the ways of like handling this game. And this game does have like a Souls type of feel to it. It does get pretty challenging, especially towards the end. I was even playing on story mode, as I was just I want to focus on the story, because I'm not really good with like Souls games. But it was even challenging towards the end. Like I died quite a few times, like as because the enemies got even harder and harder than your character levels. Like I didn't really grind a whole lot. Like, I could go back to the levels, different levels and grind. But I didn't do that. I just said, I'm here for the story. I want to get, into the story, into the characters. And the gameplay what drove it hard for me. I think gameplay number one was like a good solid 9 out of 10. I pulled off some sick combos with my greatsword. And I was like, man, that's so sick. Like, just landing the final blow of like, on bosses and enemies is like it's so satisfying. I really like the gear and the armor aspects. I thought some of the gear and armor looked great. They do have a lot of like repeats, like they have a good variety, but like a lot of it is like okay, so you get about there's probably 10 different kinds of gear and armor, which is pretty nice. But after a while, it's like okay, so you just mission match, or if you want to match it or not. I mean, go by skill levels, but I thought it was pretty neat. I thought the armor and the gear was fine. There's some I didn't really care for, like the quality of them was kind of eh. But I really did like it. I really did appreciate it, and just different setup, different experiments. You can like change combos and change party members. You get 5 of them. There's 5 party members to choose from. And it was pretty good. It was pretty fun. Got to use each character, in my party. So I was like, I just find the right combination. And yeah, I thought the gameplay aspects of this game drove it hard. Like I said, the gameplay element alone is 9 out of 10. It wasn't perfect, no. You can tell that the gameplay is a little repetitive, but if you're pulling off sick combos and you just having fun exploring like the levels, and that's another thing I really like about this game. I really love exploring the levels and just finding stuff, like finding enemies to fight. And I thought that was like the another strength of this game, exploration. The level design in this game was fine. I did have a couple spots where I got a little confused, like the level design was a little off. Visually, we'll talk about the visuals next. I thought visually this game was alright. I mean, it looked great in a lot of spots. I can tell that this game may as high budgeted as like a lot of Square Enix major games, but you can tell they put a lot of heart and soul in this game. And I don't really want to spoil things, so spoiler alert. If you have not played this game, I would turn away now. I'm gonna talk about the story now. The story of this game, if you haven't guessed, the story it takes place before the events of Final Fantasy 1. like the before the 1987 game. So like this tells you exactly what's happening, who the heck Jack is, and who his companions are. Because the story starts off with you're supposed to be the Warriors of Light, but the prophecy states that there's only 4 Warriors of Light and there's 5. Somebody is not a Warrior of Light, and come to find out, Jack is actually Jack Garland, who is the main villain in Final Fantasy 1. So like he's actually the bad guy in Final Fantasy 1, and he finds out that he is supposed to be Chaos, right? He's supposed to end up being Chaos, and his teammates actually ended up being the ones to train him to be Chaos. So even his teammates are not the Warriors of Light. They are not the Warriors of Light. They thought they were, but come to find out, the big ending of this game is like mind blowing, right? I was so immersed in the story that I was like, man, just what a way to set up. Like even it got me where I want to play Final Fantasy 1 and continue the story where this left off. I still got to do the DLCs, but I thought the story was great. The characters. Let's talk about the characters. I thought the characters were fine. They wasn't like mind blowing like a Final Fantasy 7 remake, or like a Sony first party game characters. But I just thought the characters were fine. I thought the voice acting was pretty good. I thought the characters were pretty good as well. I was immersed in their story and like the story arcs of each character, and I was really pleased with the way it ended. I thought the voice actors, they nailed their roles. I thought it's good enough to drive the story forward, to drive the story arcs of each of these characters forward, and I really liked it. The music in this game is incredible, as always. It has some good highlights and music. The music choice for each location was fine. Another thing I really like about locations as well is like a nod and reference to other Final Fantasy games, and I really appreciated that. I really appreciated that a ton. I was like those moments in this game, is like, holy crap, like, dude, I know this area. I played this in my other Final Fantasy games, and just like the music kicks in, it's like, oh my goodness, like the nostalgia. It hits you in nostalgia. That's what this game does, and it's good overall. That's why I gave it a solid 8 out of 10. It's not a perfect game. It's got some flaws. I'll talk about those now. Like I said, the characters were fine. They wasn't like mind blowing like Final Fantasy VII Remake, like as far as like the story arcs and stuff like that. Other than towards the ending when you find out who Jack Garland is, and what was leading up to. I thought the characters were fine. They wasn't the greatest. But hey, I still immersed. I still enjoy the characters in this game. I will say this: the enemy variety is great until towards the end. It started to get reskinned. Find the same enemy types. I was fighting bats, flans, mind flayers, and then like the giant gigas, yeah, whatever they are, troll looking things. I just kept finding those, and the roundworms. It's like I kept finding those. It's like, okay, I get it. These are supposed to be like the toughest of the enemies, but it's like you could change up a little bit. Like you could change up and have a different variety of enemies, especially towards like the last 2-3 dungeons, including the final area. It's like you're fighting the same creatures. Now you end up fighting a one-eyed bat-looking thing, which I recognize it from Final Fantasy X, and it was great. It was great to fight that thing, but like the reskin enemies kind of got boring after a while. I was like, oh. And like the mind flayers was like so freaking, like the only thing I didn't really like is they kept spamming the grab mechanics where it kept grabbing Jack, and I couldn't escape, and it got to the point where I ended up dying a few times. It's like, come on, it's like you guys gonna sit there and just spam. And I know you guys gonna say skill issue, but it's just one thing. It's like I know you guys want to have me fight these things, but don't let me fight these things like 3-4 levels in a row. It's like, it gets tiring after a while, right? And it got to the point where like, and some of the later like late game like armor and gear, like it started to become, especially towards when you just control Jack. It got to the point where none of those gear really mattered. Like I got my setup, and it's like the rest of the gear, even though they're higher levels and stuff like that, but like it didn't really do a whole lot as far as stats and skills, I thought. So it's like they could have done a little bit better on that. But other than that, the game's a solid 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. Do I recommend people playing it? Yeah, just give it a try. Play it. Try out the different classes. Find out what works for you. Me, it was a great sword. I really enjoyed a great sword, and I had fun. The gameplay was a solid 9 out of 10. It kept me immersed. Like the boss fights, I love the boss fights in this game. Like I didn't even talk about those. The boss fights in this game was amazing. Like especially pulling off like the killing blows of the enemies as well. That was great. Like just the gameplay drove it hard. The story, especially the story twist, and the characters were fine, were good. And of course, you guys know my downfalls about this game. But other than that, this game was great. It's a solid 8 out of 10. I'm glad I picked it up and bought it and played it. Finally beat it. And yeah, that's my review of Stranger Paradise. I recommend you guys giving this game a shot. It's an 8 out of 10. It's a solid game. Now, is it going to be like the most visually pleasing game in the world? No, it's not. It's a lower budgeted game by Square Enix. They are the publisher, and Team Ninja are the developers. So just keep that in mind when playing this. Sometimes this game blows your mind with the visuals. Other times it's like, man, they could do a little bit better job. But with that said, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments below. Have you guys played Stranger Paradise? If not, are you guys going to give it a shot? I would if I was you. It's a fun game, especially if you like Souls games. They have a Souls-like type of gameplay in it. If you don't want to play like me on story mode and play on easy, play on hard. I will spoil another thing for you guys. So spoiler alert: once you beat the game, they do unlock Chaos difficulty, which is a very extremely hard difficult. So if you guys are looking for a challenge, definitely play on a harder difficulty. I heard that hard mode is actually really challenging at the start. So if you guys want that, feel free to do that. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think of this game. And I'm happy to play it. I definitely want to go back and play Final Fantasy 1 after playing this. This is great. A great 8 out of 10 game. What I said, have a wonderful day, wonderful night. Keep on keeping on. I'll catch you all in the next video. I have links in the description below for my Twitch, Twitter, and Discord. You guys know what to do. And with that said, I hope you guys have a wonderful day, wonderful night. Keep on keeping on. And I'll catch you all on stream tonight when I stream my blind playthrough of God of War Ragnarok. With that said, I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Love you guys. Thank you for the love and support as always. If you guys would, drop a like, subscribe, share with a friend. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.